Hello and welcome to another edition of An English Guy Watching Wrestling. I am the English Guy, I'm Nick. Thank you so much for clicking on another video, I really do appreciate it. And this one, we're going to be covering the 3rd of June 2021 edition of Impact Wrestling. And it was a very good episode. With that being said, dive right into it. Now, the opening matchup is a bit of an unusual one to call because it was a 60-minute Iron Man match between TJP and Josh Alexander for the X Division Championship. Josh Alexander is the X Division champion. But this match started on Before the Impact, which is a show that they do before Impact Wrestling every single week on Access TV. And then obviously after that you have Impact. The match started on that show and went into the beginning of Impact, which was a little bit weird, but I was not expecting that. But I will say, when it started on Impact, this is Josh Alexander was down up 1-4-0. Now, I will admit, I have not seen the whole match. But what I did see in the brief time they had was superb stuff. But with TJP and Josh Alexander, you're going to get exactly that. TJP managed to drag it back to 1-4 piece with, I think, 5 seconds to spare. And then that was it. It went to sudden overtime, sudden death, sorry. And Josh Alexander picked up the win. But, when it comes to Iron Man matches, there's one or two ways it can happen. There's going to be a lot of falls each, or there's going to be very little falls each. And it seems to be the little falls each that seems to have more impact, shall we say, because of how, no pun intended, because of how they're paced, how they're put together. And I've seen matches like that, and they've just been fantastic. This was no exception, because obviously it went to 2-1 at the very end of the whole thing, and that was, of course, when Josh managed to pick up the win. But, I've said it before, these two men always strike gold when in the ring with each other, and they did certainly here with what I saw of them. And, I don't think there's any two better all-round wrestlers in Impact than Josh Alexander and TJP. And it showed. This was a cracking matchup between these two to top off perhaps the ending of their little friendly rivalry, shall we say. But if it isn't the end, I'm definitely not going to complain. But what I saw here was good stuff, and definitely thumbs up to both men for going such a grueling match. So there you go. Well done. And this match was a tables match between Rohit Raju and Jake Something. Now this has been building for a little while. Obviously, Jake Something and Rohit Raju are no strangers to each other. They were long-time tag team partners in the independent scene. I don't know if they still are, to be honest, but obviously they know each other so well. And the tables matchup is not something I was expecting, to be completely honest, but not complaining at all. Nothing wrong with that. But this was actually quite a good match and well told match between both men. And obviously, table matches can be strange to predict. This one was actually unexpected, but not strange. I'll say why. Obviously, Jake Something is a huge guy. He's not small in any way, shape, or form. Rohit Raju was, of course, the smaller wrestler in this match. But his tactics to try and take out Jake were very unique and very good. He's in chairs, which is something I did not expect. Obviously, no disqualification because it is a tables match. To try and take out Jake Something that way and work on different body parts. It was a very unique strategy by Rohit Raju, but one I enjoyed watching. Where Jake Something, went beast mode, shall we say, and picked up the win after he drove Rohit Raju hard through a table. But you know what? Sometimes it's good to see that kind of thing happen. And this was actually a good tables match. Tables matches are kind of bizarre to call because you never know what's going to happen. But what happened here was actually quite a good match between both men, and I enjoyed it. And table matches like this are entertaining because this one was done differently. It was laid out differently. And it showed from both men. And Jake Something picks up, I think, a win that's going to push him in the right direction because I think Jake has got potential to go a lot further. So what's going to happen from there? Who knows? But there you go. But thumbs up to both men for producing quite an entertaining tables match. So always like to see that. Well done. And this match was for the Knockout Tag Team title. Fire and Flavor defending the title, against Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering. Now, excuse me. This was Rachel and Jordan Grace's rematch, of course, after they did lose the titles recently. And of course, Fire and Flavor, I just absolutely love as a tag team. I think yes, they're perhaps the ones that speak the most out of the entire Knockouts division. But you know what? Sometimes it's good to have that kind of banter and to put forward, and this was no exception. But this was actually quite a good match. I liked the way they did it a lot differently than the first time they met each other for the belts. And Jordan Grace being the weak link in the team, but showing a little bit more of that here. But I really did enjoy the tag team continuity between Fire and Flavor, and they are going from strength to strength, and they're evident because they are now again the champions. And I enjoyed what all four ladies brought to this one. It's a very different match from the last one, and a bit more sense of urgency from the challengers, obviously because they are now the challengers. Jordan Grace maybe losing a bit of grip, shall we say, because obviously she's in a bit of a losing streak, and she lost this match. And it's a shame to see because I think honestly there is a lot more road ahead for Grace and Ellering if they stay tag team because, as I said before, there are not many female wrestlers in Impact that are as strong as Jordan Grace. Ellering is one of them. So it's kind of cool to see if they do stay together or they are going to have a feud eventually. Who knows? Because there has been a little bit of, I won't say dissension, but doubts. It's the best way to put it. But as said, Fire and Flavor retained in a good title match and a good way to change it up a little bit from their first match. So the match before, when Fire and Flavor won the belt. So thumbs up to all four ladies for producing good stuff here. That's it. Then we had Satoshi Kojima versus Dina, and this was Kojima's matchup for choice because obviously he laid a challenge to Dina last week on Impact. And what else can I say about Kojima except legend? New Japan legend, former New Japan World Heavyweight Champion, of course, multiple time tag team champion, and the guy is as good as they come after 30 plus years in this business. He can still go with the very best of them, and he showed it here. And this was a very well sorted out and paced match from both men. Kojima, is not a small guy. He's quite a strong individual, but he can move for the best of them. But so can Dina. He's not the smallest guy either, as well, having said that. But this was a good match from both men. Obviously, Kojima showed his experience and showed what he can do and did win the matchup with his famous lariat. But Dina pulled a good match in this one too. He tried to take Kojima off his game because when Kojima gets going, he gets going. That's Kojima for you. And he'll do the 1,000 drops in the corner. He'll go overdrive. He'll do the lariat. He'll do everything that makes Kojima. But not to say that Dina didn't try to take him off that. So it's a very unique but good strategy from Dina. And the way they worked it was well done again. And I think Kojima winning was the right call, even though I still think we're going to see more out of this little thing going on between Kojima and perhaps Flying by Design. I wouldn't mind seeing more of it. I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind seeing Young versus Kojima. That would be good. But enjoyable match this one for sure. Good stuff from both men. And Kojima did a great job, and so did Dina. And this is well worth watching. So thumbs up for that. Which brought us to the main event. Sami Callihan versus Moose. And of course, after last week, you just knew these two were going to have a match at some point against each other. Perhaps the two most hungry men for the Impact World title in Impact Wrestling right now. Obviously, Moose is going to be getting the title shot against Kenny Omega very, very soon. But Sami wants that belt so badly, and he realizes that Kenny Omega, as good as he is not the champion that Impact needs to have on top right now. But Sami feels like he's the champion they deserve. And Moose, he wants to get back to the king of being the top of the food chain because obviously he was the TNA heavyweight champion at some point until Rich Swann being for that belt. But this was actually a very good main event, and what both men are very good at is when they play to their strengths in the matchup, they play it to it very well, and that's exactly what they did here. Sami Callihan had more impacts, again, no pun intended, hard-hitting wrestler, and Moose has really stepped up his game, to be fair. He's become a great all-round wrestler to watch. And I think he showed that in this one. He did some stuff I've never seen him do before. Again, he seems to do something a little bit different each week. But Sami Callihan was definitely having none of it. And unfortunately, both men didn't win the match because it went to a no contest because of the interference from the Good Brothers. And of course, Kenny Omega stepping in a little bit as well for obvious reasons because because Moose does have a shot against Kenny very soon for the belt. And of course, Sam will be keeping a close eye on it, to be completely fair. And honestly, the winner match might get the winner of Omega versus Moose. We'll probably have to have Sami next on their radar. But these two men, despite being heels, kind of didn't try and work the heel style. They tried to work their unique style of hard-hitting, smash mouth style from Sami Callihan, and of course the all-round great wrestling from Moose. And this was a good main event to top off what was actually a very good episode of Impact Wrestling. And Impact, once again, I'll go from strength to strength to strength. And it showed it. So thumbs up to both men for producing an entertaining main event. Unfortunately, we didn't get a winner because of the no contest, but you know what? They did a good job anyway. And thumbs up to everybody else involved in the show for entertaining stuff, good stuff. So on that positive note, I will end the review here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see everybody next time. Until that time, take care.